to apologize in advance about my camera. It doesn't allow me to zoom up on the font, so it will appear really small on this version of the presentation. The one without sound is much better, and you can get more facts from it, or you can see the facts better, I should say. So go ahead and look at that if you want. So to begin, an important concept that our classmates need to know are the Big Five personality traits. The Big Five personality traits are supported by 5 dimensions of personality: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Acronyms commonly used to refer to these 5 traits are OCEAN, NEOAC, or CANOE. It's important for our classmates to know about these traits because there's a common theme in the work of early theorists that relatively few traits are required to describe and predict an individual's behavior. By using these concepts, individuals can evaluate their own weaknesses and strengths to improve them. Knowing your own personality can help solve conflicts with others by using less energy and help in the adoption of other positive behaviors. This model is able to account for different traits in personality without overlapping. During studies, the personality traits will show consistency in interviews, self-descriptions, and observations. Moreover, the 5-factor structure seems to be found across a wide range of participants of different ages and different cultures. Just a little background information. The Big Five model was defined by several independent sets of researchers. These researchers began by studying known personality traits and then factor analyzing hundreds of measures of these traits in self-report questionnaire data, peer readings, and objective measures from experimental settings in order to find the underlying factors of personality. Furthermore, the 5-factor model was created by using lexical analysts, analyzing 17,593 personality describing words, which were reduced to 4,504 adjectives, then just 171. In the 1940s, 16 major factors were isolated and considered the most important, and in 1961, it was trimmed down to just 5. OCEAN. Now for the concept map. Starting with openness, it regards to appreciation for emotion, art, unusual ideas, adventure, curiosity, imagination, and variety of experience. People with low scores on openness tend to have more conventional, traditional interests. They prefer the plain, straightforward, and obvious over the complex, ambiguous, and subtle. Conscientiousness is in regards to a tendency to act dutifully, show self-discipline, and aim for achievement. High scores on conscientiousness indicate a preference for planned rather than spontaneous behavior. Low scores are apt to procrastinate and not care for order. Extroversion is in regards to positive emotions, energy, self-confidence, outgoingness, and the tendency to seek stimulation and the comfort of others. While the low scores, also known as introverts, tend to have lower social engagement and energy levels compared to extroverts. Agreeableness is in regards to a tendency to be cooperative and compassionate rather than antagonistic and suspicious toward others. They are generally considerate, friendly, generous, helpful, and willing to compromise their interests with others. People who score low tend to place self-interest above getting along with others. And finally, the last trait, neuroticism, is in regards to a tendency to experience negative emotions easily, such as depression, anxiety, anger, or vulnerability, sometimes called emotional instability. Those who score high on neuroticism are also more likely to interpret ordinary situations as threatening and minor frustrations as hopelessly difficult. But for those who score low in neuroticism are less easily upset and less emotionally reactive. And for our visual, we added The Breakfast Club in. And before I play the short clip of it, notice as you watch that it's a great film to reflect back on the Big Five traits. Each character reflects either a low score or high score of one of the main traits of openness, conscientiousness, extrovert, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Also, it shows that society tends to label people as athlete, criminal, brain, basket case, and princess. I'm going to briefly describe each character and what trait they resemble the most similar before I push play. The criminal, played as the character John, dressed with baggy clothes and blue jean jacket, represents the lower score of agreeableness. His personality came off as rude and challenging. The athlete, played by Andy, dressed in a blue shirt, represents the trait of neuroticism. His personality seems as if he's emotionally unstable. The brain character, represented by Brian, he wears the green flannel shirt and relates to the trait of openness and agreeableness. He would score as a practical individual. He is portrayed as every parent's dream teenager. He seems to be a good student, and is implied. The teenage girl dressed in all black and with short and wavy hair is represented as the basket case. Her character's name is Allison, in which her personality reflects as a low score for conscientiousness. She appears lazy, impulsive, and a procrastinator. Finally, the extrovert trait is represented as the princess. Character's name is Claire. She wears a pink shirt and red hair. She shows sensitive qualities and perky and demeanor. So I'm going to push play and I'll point them out as we go along. This is Claire.
I mean, I don't think either one of them gives a shit about me. It's like they use me just to get back at each other.
And that was Allison.
Shut up!
You're just feeling sorry.
That is Andy, the
No,
jock.
if I did, nobody else would.
Oh, you're breaking my heart.
Squirtle,
What?
And there's John. He's the criminal.
you get along with your parents?
Neuroticism.
Well, if I say yes, I'm an idiot, right?
You're an idiot anyway. But if you say you get along with your parents, well, you're a liar too.
That's Brian the brain, the agreeable one.
You know something, man? If we weren't in school right now, I'd waste you.
Can you hear this? You want me to turn it up? I don't like my parents either. I mean, I don't get along with them. I mean, their idea of, parental compassion is just, wacko, Sure. You are a parent's wet dream, okay? Well, that's the problem. Look, I could see you getting all bunged up for them making you wear these kind of clothes. But face it, you're a neo-maxi zoom dweeby. What would you be doing if you weren't out making yourself a better citizen?
Why do you have to insult everybody?
I'm being honest, asshole. I would expect you to know the difference.
Yeah, well, he's got a name.
Yeah? Yeah. What's your name?
Brian.
Okay. My condolences.
What's your name?
What's yours?
Claire.
Claire?
Claire, it's a family name.
Oh, that comes in.
Thank
You're welcome.
you. Not that.
Well, not at present, but I can see you really pushing maximum density. You see, I'm not sure if you know this, but there are two kinds of fat people. There's fat people that were born to be fat, and there's fat people that were once thin, but they became fat. So when you look at them, you can sort of see that thin person inside. You see, you're going to get married, you're going to squeeze out a few puppies, and then... Oh. Seeing finger gestures from such a pristine girl.
I'm not that pristine.
Are you a virgin? I'll bet you $1 million that you are.
Okay, if you were to watch the whole movie, I'm sure you can see how Ocean relates to their personalities a lot more than that short clip did. But moving on, in order to find out which of the traits best matches you, theorists have created multiple tests for one to take. The most successful tests usually consist of multiple choice questions that ask the test takers for their interpretations and certain feelings or events. This page of the slideshow gives examples of questions used to decode our major traits, such as, I wait for others to lead the way, I get caught up in my problems, I make a mess of things, I feel others' emotions, I start conversations, I'm full of ideas, I'm interested people, and I have little to say. Different personality traits call for different career choices. For example, in a person who is open might do well as a graphic designer or any other career choices in the art industry, the entrepreneur field, or even a police. A neurosis might not do well in a social environment, but could do well in a career that involved only their efforts, such as a writer or a mentor. A person who is an extrovert might do well as a salesperson. A conscientious individual might work well in any type of environment, especially in an office setting. An agreeable person could also do well in customer service, but not in management because they are very empathetic. The Big Five personality traits are not always reliable. This is due to the fact that other factors such as environment and genetics play a part in changing or determining one's personality. For an example, an individual who has a personality trait when affected by success or failure, an environmental factor, might change his or her personality depending on the outcome. This influences one's adjustment and self-concept. When he or she succeeds, it heightens one's level of aspiration and makes the individual brag about his abilities, whereas failure leads to the development of negative traits. For an example, depression, inferiority feeling, low aspiration, escape, and blame. Furthermore, while in a group of people or within a place where society's eyes are staring at you, personality types are not reliable. With fear of looking different or not fitting in, individuals usually change or alter their personalities to fit the situations they are in. This is because of fear of rejection. For example, an individual who has an extrovert personality when meeting their future romantic partner might not show the thrill-seeking side of personality to avoid being rejected. Unfortunately, this is also the case with society. As an individual who is looking for a job as a manager, society expects that you should not be easily persuaded or shy. If you're an extrovert who is generally shy, you have to alter some of your personality traits to fit to the socially acceptable norms. Overall, don't take the Big Five personalities traits seriously in all situations one comes across. There are too many other variables that can influence how one acts, such as biological and environmental factors. But if the tests do point on a negative side of you, take action and try to become a better person. Thank you for listening, and this is the conclusion to our Group 2 homework.